Hi everybody, Cheaply Chic Lynette here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited to be sharing my idea for day number 3 in the 2024 Base Pages Junk Journal collab hosted by Jessica over at Paper Terrace. Today there is an assigned creator for day number 3, so the links to all of those creators will be in my description box down below. My actual day isn't until the 10th day of the collab, but she said to feel free and create along with everyone if we were interested, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to create and play around because I was having a lot of fun with my nautical themed journal and thought it would be fun to create along with everyone else as well. So I already have a video up on my channel sharing day 1 and day 2 of this collab. Those links will be in the description box down below as well. So let's get started. Today is frame. We are supposed to create a frame for our journal, and it is supposed to be simple and basic and something that anyone can do. Today I am grabbing some cardboard out of my pantry, and I'm going to use this to create a template. So let me cut my box apart here. So of course you could use anything to create this little base. You could use a piece of paper, you could use any type of cardboard. Because I want everyone to be able to do this, I just went and got something out of the recycling that I had in the kitchen. So because I am a horrible person at cutting straight lines, I'm going to use my cutter here to just trim up my box. You don't have to do this. You could absolutely just use your scissors and cut out your little square. But what I'm going to do to make this simpler for me is cut out the inside of the frame and use it as a stencil to create my frame. So this can be any size that you would like it to be. I think I'm going to make a couple of them. So I'm just going to start with this piece and have this rectangular shape. I think I'm going to trim this one down a little bit. Maybe a 3 by 3. The next thing I'm going to do is get some book pages. Because I'm going to create these to float around in my journal and not necessarily glue them down, I'm going to take some book pages and glue them together. Now I happen to have this little chunk of book pages that's been torn out of a book, so it's super easy for me to just add glue to my book page and stick them together. And that just gives me a little bit of a thicker piece of paper to work with. If you chose to use something like scrapbook paper, it wouldn't be as flimsy as this, but this was a cheap book to begin with, so that's just going to give it a little bit of stiffness. The next thing I'm going to do is take this little square that I made, and I'm going to put this in the center of my book page. I have this brand new craft knife I've never even used that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. They sell these in sets of 3 at the Dollar Tree, and I love them. I've used them for years, and I'm just going to cut along the edges of my book page. Making this little template for me is nice. I'm not very good at straight lines to save my life, so it's helpful. It's just really helpful to have a little stencil that you can use. So now I have cut out this square, and it's really fun. I can use this in some other type of ephemera if I want to. So my book page is still pretty wet from that glue. I'm not going to do anything else to this at the moment. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and then I'm going to take another book page. This time I'm not going to glue 2 of them together simply because I don't want to get stuck waiting for that glue to dry. Okay, so you can use this over and over again, which is what I love about it. But I'm just going to take my rectangular shaped one and cut out my square, or my rectangle, I should say. This is not something you have to be super precise with. If you want it to be raggedy and misshapen, that's perfectly fine too. It does not have to be a perfect shape. The idea of a frame is just simply that, to have a framed image or text or whatever it is you're going to be using it for. So now we have our hole in this piece, and I'm just going to continue to work with this piece since my glued pages are still drying. I'm going to take my tear ruler. You don't have to do this. You could fold your book page and just tear it clean if you wanted to. In fact, I think I'll do that on the top. So I'm just going to fold that over a couple times just to make it easy for me to tear. You could cut it. I like that raggedy look, so just going to very carefully rip that off. And I guess I'll skip the tear ruler. I'll just keep doing it like that. It works so well. Just going to decide where I want to tear my paper. And this book page is super thin and cheap, so I have to be a little careful. And then I'm just going to do the same thing along the sides. All right, and there we go. So far, we just have a very simple frame, which I still think is super cool. If you wanted to, you could stop here and just glue that down to your page. You could decorate around it. You could write inside of it. There's so much. That's my basic little frame there. And as I'm looking at this one that I'm still waiting to dry, if I would have been smart, I would have glued a bunch of these together before I got started, but that's okay. Just an idea as you're working along. If you're going to make a bunch of these at once and you want to glue your papers together, it's probably a good thing to do all the gluing and then let it dry. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to keep moving along. So I'm just going to tear off the top, and then I want to make the bottom a little bigger this time, more like a Polaroid shape. Maybe not quite, but I want a little bit more room to embellish here at the bottom. So this time I'm gonna just leave a little bit of extra book page. So there we go. We have two frames. I'm just going to use my vintage photo and ink these up. I do like the two book pages glued together better. This one's super flimsy, so it's a little harder to work with, but it still works. I kind of like these pages because they're a little blank. Because this page is lined, I like how that creates a little space where I can accentuate some journaling. I could add a quote in there, or maybe a Bible verse, whatever it is I would like to say. So instead of framing a picture, I'm going to glue this frame down so that I can use it for a journaling opportunity later. Okay, and then this little piece here, I like the way that these two frames are creating some visual interest. The fact that the text is going sideways here and up and down here. Also the fact that they are opposite of each other on the page. I think that's super fun. So I made this piece of the frame a little wider, and again, because my journal is nautical themed, I have some more little book pages torn out here with some fish. And I'm thinking I want to pop some of these out of the page and embellish with them. I also don't necessarily want to cut them out. I want them torn out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. We'll see what happens. I'd also like, for the sake of decorating this page, a fish facing the other direction, which I don't have in this little section of book pages that I have. Let me see what I have in my stash. All right, interestingly enough, this book only has every single fish facing the left. So, interesting. All right, I'm gonna have to pick a different fish. I like these cute little fish here on the back. I'm just kind of worried how I'm going to be able to rip them out and not lose any of their cute little fins. I am liking how my little fish is overlaying on that frame, and I would kind of like to stick this guy up here if I can get him to fit. Let's start by inking them up a little bit. I like the way that that lays out. I feel like I need something down in this corner. I do have this little bucket of cutout embellishments. These are just some frames that I've gotten from various digital kits. There's also some stickers in here. Just little easy things to use as embellishments. I'm going to start by gluing this frame down on the page. If you wanted to, you could leave the top or side open if you thought you wanted to slip something behind it later. That's an idea. I'm going to glue this guy down. And then just play around with it. Whatever you got in your stash. So I have these washi stickers, and I know that they're botanical and they're flowers, but I do like the way that the black and white plays along with my spread that I'm creating here. So if I can find something maybe not super flowery but more botanical, because obviously the beach is covered in grass and everything, I kind of like that sticker. And that one's kind of cute too. All right, I'm gonna go with those. These are some of my favorite washi stickers, by the way. They come on in a set on Amazon. There's like 4 different packs that you can pick up, but these black and white are my favorite. I just love the way that you can use them with anything. So I'll leave those in a link down below if you're interested. For the heck of it, just to add a little interest, I'm going to use this brown washi. Add a little piece of it down here. I do not like to add washi without some kind of adhesive. Usually I reach for my glue stick, but my glue bottle's sitting here open. I'll just use that. Okay, just gonna stick that right there. And then I'm just going to glue this little angelfish or whatever it is down at the bottom of the page. There. I think that's cute. And I want to leave most of those lines for journaling. I do a lot of journaling, so I like open space. Oh, and then I just tore my sticker. I'm going to use it anyway. Of course. It is a junk journal after all. I always have to remind myself of that sometimes. And I don't know, I feel like I need another fish. Maybe this little comet fish. He's cute. Type of goldfish. Okay, and I'm just gonna glue that guy right there and call it good. So that is it for my frame idea. Basically what I wanted to share with you guys were these little templates that I made. I think it makes creating frames so much easier if you cut out a base like this, because then if you can just trim up the center of your frame, you can do whatever you want to that shape. And even if you wanted to create a circle or something, you could trace a drinking glass. I've done that a lot. If you don't have a stencil to create a circle, find a circle object, create that round frame, and then you could tear around that as well. So again, there's my idea for a frame. All of the links will be in the description box down below for everyone participating in this collab, as well as a link to these stickers for anyone who might be interested. All right, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.